What's going on, everyone, and welcome in to NHL Best Bets for April 29th, presented by Odd Shoppers. I'm Gator Betting, joined by my two co-hosts today, Franco the Banker and Gretzky Betskis. We got a 4-game slate on this Tuesday night for the NHL playoffs. We'll give you a pick and maybe even two in some of these games for tonight. Before we do that, don't forget to check us out on the Odd Shoppers Tails Network, where we're dropping all of our plays early, giving our subscribers a chance to grab the best lines before they move. Don't forget to use promo code PUCKS for 50% off your first month. The link for our Tails profile will be in the description of this video. Also, later in the show, we'll be highlighting the PortfoilioEV tool from the Odd Shoppers as well to identify the top EV plays of the night. We're pumped to have you with us. So with that being said, let's get into the first game of the night here. We got Ottawa at Toronto, game 5. Toronto up 3-1 in that series. And Betsky, wouldn't it be funny? Toronto fans, cover your ears. But if the Leafs blew this series, I know as a Sabres fan, I'm cheering for it. But that being said, what is your best bet in Ottawa, Toronto tonight?
Well, we got a long ways to go until Toronto's
gotta have hope
in the blowing the series territory. Even if Ottawa wins tonight, I mean, you still got 2 more games that they would need to win. But I do like Ottawa tonight a little bit. I think that the pushback could be real. I don't think Toronto's been overtly dominating in any of these games. Even if they've had stretches and periods where they've been able to just completely shut down Ottawa. I do think sometimes you can get punished when you take your foot off the gas like that. And luckily for Toronto, that hasn't been the case too much. But big win in Ottawa on Saturday. And we're going to go back to the captain here with Brady Tkachuk. Big play type of performer, big game type of performer. And after a one-shot performance on Saturday, I think we're going to see him ripping puck again. So out of the 4 games played so far, he has had 5, 5, and 4 shots on goals when he's hit. Again, last game he had 1. I expect to bounce back. You're getting a great number here because of that at minus 130 on DraftKings. Shot attempts are through the roof in this series. 12 shot attempts in his first game, 9, then 7, and then it went down to 4. I think he kind of took a back seat last game. Ottawa got on board quick. He was more of a playmaker, more of a plumber, if you will, going into the dirty areas, getting the puck out for everybody else. And tonight, I think we're going to see more of that kind of net front presence and just the puck ripper that Brady can be, because this is going to be desperation mode, because this could be it. So Brady at minus 130, I think that price is fantastic. Did not expect to see it drop that much.
No, I certainly agree. I like it. It's interesting, too. Ottawa's shots have been much better on the road in the first 2 games of this series, too. They kind of took a step back in games 3 and 4, which is interesting because they were so dominant in terms of shots at home during the regular season, but it seems like it's almost flipped. And like you mentioned, too, that desperation aspect tonight. So I love that look at Brady, 4+ shots on goal. Moving along to the next game here, we got New Jersey at Carolina, game 5. Carolina looking to close out New Jersey tonight in Raleigh. Franco, what is your best bet for tonight in that game?
I'm going to be taking the Carolina Hurricanes to get this done on the puck line tonight, minus 1.5 at plus 100. Really the only way you can bet the Canes here tonight. And I think it's just, they're up 3-1 in the series now. This is their chance to close it out on home ice. They're not going to want to have to go back to Jersey to try to get this win and make this into more of a series. This is the game that, they're going to want to just get it done, get some rest before the start of the next round. So, so far this series, the 3 games that they have won, they have covered the puck line, all 3 of them. And even going back to the season series, the 2 games that Carolina won, both of them were in Carolina that they won. They cover the puck line in those games as well. So typically in these types of elimination games, you see the team, if they're down, if New Jersey's down late in the game, with 2, maybe even 3 or 4 minutes left, sometimes they'll pull the goalie a little early. So we might be able to get one of those extra goals to make it a 4-2 or 5-2 type of game early in the not super late in the third like we typically have to wait. So I'm going to grab them, and I think it's a good look here, especially with Siegenthaler being a game time decision again today. I think that's pretty big for the Devils. He was one of their better defensive defensemen. So the injuries have just caught up with Jersey, and I think this series has kind of shown that, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah, Freddie Anderson is out tonight for Carolina, so it looks like it's going to be Koshedov in net. Also, a little shameless plug here. We did give out Carolina minus 1.5 games for our first round playoff best bet in that series. Carolina hopefully can take care of business in the next 2 games to cash that bet for us. All right. Next game up, Minnesota at Vegas. Series tied at 2. We talked about this again before. We thought this was going to be kind of a tight series, and here we are, all tied up, heading back to Vegas for Game 5 here. And I'm going to look at one of the Vegas defensemen, Noah Hannafin, at that 2+ shots on goal mark on DraftKings. It's minus 145, right below that number that I kind of like to play for singles here. Hannafin's been terrific in the last 3 games. He had 5 shots on goal on 9 attempts in Game 4. Game 3, he had 2 on 5 attempts. And then in Game 2, so that was Game 3, excuse me, Game 2, he had 5 shots on goal on 11 attempts. So his attempts have been terrific in the last 3 games here. He's been a home dog all season. He's hitting 3 of his last 4 at home coming into this one. So looking at Noah Hannafin, I expect him to kind of keep being that offensive playmaker on the defensive side of things for Vegas. So him at that 2+ shots on goal mark, minus 145 on DraftKings. All right, last game of the night here. We have Edmonton and Los Angeles, and this series has just been absolutely phenomenal. Man. All tied up at 2.
This is like the type of series that converts people to becoming hockey fans.
Yes.
It's been so good.
And I mean, after the first 2 games, is Edmonton dead? Is Stuart Skinner the huge issue here? Obviously, the few goaltending changes with Edmonton, their games 3 and 4. Now they seem to be alive here. It's series tied up at 2, heading back to Los Angeles. All the storylines in the world that you can ask for. But
well, not to toot our own horns again, but if you saw our playoff preview show or saw some of our best bets for the series, you would have known this. We said the home team every game, and so far 4 out of 4.
60-1. That's the ticket that we gave out too. That the home team's going to win every single game in this series. So we'll see if that cashes. But in terms of a Game 5 best bet, Betsy, what are you looking at?
Well, I am going to go to the king hater himself, Evander Kane. We were a little early on him when he made his debut 3 games ago, only putting up 1 shot off 2 attempts. There was slight concern, and I'm going to use slight very liberally here because I didn't have too much after that maybe he wasn't going to come back as the same player. But lo and behold, 8 attempts, 4 shots in the second game since he came back. 10 attempts and 4 shots than last game. Head to head, this man has hit his 1.5 shots on goal line in 26 of the last 29 games played against the Kings, dating back to February 2022. Some of you weren't even born yet. I know it. Anyways, I am gladly going to take this, even with the juice. You're going to find it around that minus 130, minus 140 price. But if you want to parlay him, you got plenty of other options here, even doing something like maybe with Hannafin, like you mentioned before. I mean, I just trust this man with my 401k at this point to hit that 1.5 line.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of a parlay piece and a king hater, you're looking at a former king here in Victor Arvidsson. He's been terrific this series at that 2+ mark as well. Minus 140 on FanDuel. So again, be sure to kind of specifically follow the books we've given out here. FanDuel only does 60-minute lines, meaning shots do not count. DraftKings is one of the only books, if not the only book, that offers kind of overtime included in that shot market. So when you're placing your bets, you will likely get some better odds on FanDuel just because Overtime's not included, but DraftKings, you will have that extra insurance in terms of the shot market if the game does go to overtime. So be sure to kind of pay attention there.
You wouldn't have hit your Draisaitl shots on goal prop last game if you took it in the 60-minute betting. So you're going to get a worse price, but it's worth it.
Yeah. It seems like we've kind of gone towards the at least narrative where if players hit that 2+ shots on goal, it's almost worth taking it in regulation. Whereas the 3 and 4, those high volume shooters, if they have a few misses in the third, they're likely going to kind of continue to shoot in overtime and be out there the majority of the time.
Yeah, especially when the 1.5 guy is, a top defenseman playing in the top 6, like Evander Kane or Arvidsson. I mean, if you're getting these bottom of the lineup guys, then it gets a little bit riskier. But as long as you're getting a guy who's playing in the top 6 or top 2 pairings and some power play time, you're probably golden for those 1.5s in reg.
Love it. All right, now that we've given out our top plays of the night, let's dive into the Portfolio EV tool from the Odd Shoppers. Before we dive into the Portfolio EV tool, I just want to give you a quick reminder that you can use promo code NHL Bets for 50% off your first month with this amazing tool. All right, our Portfolio EV tool play of the day is going to be Brock Faber under 1.5 shots on goal. Betsky, you want to tell the people why?
Yeah, Faber plays big minutes, so that's the only concern here. But so far, he has been kind of an offensive black hole in terms of shooting the puck. In his 4 games against Vegas so far, he literally only has 1 shot on goal and has less attempts than Kane did in 1 game. So he only has 10 total shot attempts across 4 games. This is not a guy who is shooting in large amounts of volume, and obviously he is not hitting the net often. I think with the addition of Zeev Buium, who is a much more offensively gifted defenseman, it's kind of taken that type of play style away from Faber, and they're really using Faber as kind of like this elite shutdown guy. I mean, in that game where it went to overtime, he had 33 minutes and still only managed to get 1 shot on net. So this is not a guy who's been a kind of offensively minded, offensively prowess type defenseman all season long. He's only hit his 1.5 line in 35 of the regular season games anyways. And again, it just isn't the role he's playing right now. They both have Jared Spurgeon and Zeev Buium, who are taking more of that offensive defensive role for the Wild. So nice price here for a guy who is just not shooting right now and it looks to continue to keep on playing in that style.
Yeah, I love that look. He also struggled on the road this season as well, just looking at his home and away splits. All right, that's going to wrap up today's episode of NHL Best Bets presented by Odd Shoppers. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Be sure to join us on Thursday for our next episode. But before we go, don't forget to subscribe and use our promo code NHL Bets for 50% off your first month of the Portfolio EV tool at the Odd Shoppers. Also, be sure to check out our Tails Network profile at Expected Bets 4. You can use promo code PUCKS for 50% off your first month. We will be back with our regular show, Expected Bets 4, on Wednesday, tomorrow night at 5:30. So please tune in to that as well. All right. We appreciate everyone for listening, and we will talk to you guys soon. See ya.